Just speaking to Mick Harkers here, we're doing it at the bottom of St Magnus Lane, just across the Castle Yards here. Now Mick got into difficulties last year on Christmas Day. You couldn't have breathed, was that right, Mick?
Aye, yeah, it was kind of tough going for a while. But I came down the street, quite quickly off the street and down into the lane here. And down as far as, well, just behind me here, Walter. And this is where probably the Doonies, we had possession the whole way down the lane, and this is maybe the first kind of time in the game that the Uppies got into the game at Sale. They were pushing back up the lane here, and of course two teams pushing against each other, sticks in the middle here. And right for the start, when it got stuck, you can't, it was a warm day, and the boys were really good. Water was coming in quickly for folk. At that time I was on this side of the wall here, so the bar started moving back up the lane, and I jumped over the wall over by there, I came back into the game here, and the bar was steadily getting pushed, more squashed up to here, and it was just this part of the wall here that I got into trouble lane.
So you couldn't have breathed, right? Was that right, Mick?
Yeah, it just felt like, I mean, there was, in 1 minute there was plenty of room around me, and then the tighter it got, it just felt like there was something pushing against the side of me here. And I said to the boys in front of me, I can't mind exactly who they were, one was Big Stoff. I said, boy, I'm struggling here a bit, boy. And it just kept on getting tight, and I couldn't get like a right breath in. It was just, I was taking in pretty breaths, and then the pretty breaths were even getting harder, and that was just here. And I was quite aware of people around me saying, oh, boy in trouble here, boy in trouble, get him out. When that was happening, I couldn't get up, so I thought about going down onto the ground to get some air, because there's only feet down there, there's no tight park down there, and I mind Stoff saying to me, boy, you're not going down there, and he shouted harder, and that's when kind of things started happening. The boys got me out. I don't really mind much about getting pulled out. And
so they were hauling you, they were lifting you?
Well, whatever they do,
they took you up here, up onto the car park, and you got put down on the ground up here. And then, well, an ambulance came. Do you mind on about that?
I don't really mind. I vaguely remember like the commotion. There's lots of, you could hear feet moving and stuff like that. And I mind Charlie Curry over me, and he was I remember hearing his voice over everybody else's voice. He was like the most prominent one there. It was obviously there's something just wasn't right. You kind of weren't happy with the situation I was in. So, but I do mind Charlie Curry's voice louder than anybody's, and I think he was like right down at me when I was lying, well, obviously on the ground.
Well, an ambulance was called for you. Do you mind being in the ambulance?
I don't mind. I mind getting out of the ambulance at the hospital.
At the hospital,
I don't really mind getting to the hospital. Again, it's just.
And when you're in the hospital, did you eventually come round? What happened there?
Oh yes, I came round in the hospital.
And were they giving you oxygen and that?
They had me on oxygen and on a drip and all. I was on oxygen the whole night, and a couple of drips you can just for get liquids back in you, because well, anybody that plays the game can see you're sweating out that much liquid, and they're wanting to get it back into you to make you as well as can be again.
So then, the next day you got out, was it?
I went out 5 o'clock at night. I got out like the next night. I was in the whole Christmas night and the whole of the next day, and then got out at night then.
And then did you watch yourself in on the DVD? Did you see that?
I got for you.
Did you see that?
I watched it, and it makes kind of frightening footage, really. You can, when you see things like that happening, you think, oh, that's a wee bit touch and go, but then spur of the moment. It's
Yeah, there was a lot of cooperation shown for the players to haul you out and get you out when they noticed you're in trouble.
that is the biggest thing. Over the years, there's been a lot of injuries in the bar, but there's always been good communication between the two teams.
Yeah.
Uppies and Doonies sometimes don't get on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. The rest of the year, they're the best friends, they're neighbours, they're workmates. But if anything was going to happen, the Uppies, probably more Uppies would have pulled me out than Doonies. The Doonies want you in there to help them, the Uppies want you out there, so if they can get you out, the better. No, there is good cooperation between
Yeah, that was good cooperation shown.
And get everybody out and get them up if the bar.
There was half a dozen players, I think, altogether that was lifted out that day.
There was a good few boys came out before me over there, but even boys getting in water, you can, the one team's no hiding water back to the range. It's a very fair game, really.
Right, thanks. I'm just doing with Mick now, doing at the fire station. On the 15th of June this year there was a sponsored event going on, Mick, was it?
Aye, we're doing a sponsored ladder climb for local hospital, the Welfare Hospital, for a lamp for the kids with jaundice and all. And 20 of us took part in it, down here, and we're climbing the tower there with a ladder up and a ladder down. And it took 4 hours and 20 odd minutes for everybody that was taking part. There's 20 of us just going up and down on that day. And after we'd finished the ladder climb, I was going into the lecture room to get me coat to get a photo taken, and I was coming through the door here, and well, I don't mind a big lot after that, because well, I had a heart attack on that day, and I fell on the ground here. Since it's all happened, I've found out exactly what's caused it and all that things. But when I hit the ground, the boys at the fire station here and the district office turned me over, and they started CPR on me right away.
That's pushing you?
That's chest compressions and well, mouth to mouth, and they started on me right there. Somebody else phoned an ambulance, and thankfully the ambulance wasn't used anywhere else. It was just 2 minutes around the corner. They came here and well, connected me up to the defibrillator and shocked me back into go again. Took me up to the hospital. I was in the hospital for about 10 days at the Balfour, and then I was taken to Aberdeen, and I got a triple bypass in Aberdeen.
Was that a triple bypass operation?
Yeah, there was 3 blockages that they needed to, 3 blockages in the arteries that they bypassed, which was a major operation, and then they fitted this thing called a implantable cardio defibrillator, and it's, if my heart goes over 200 beats a minute again, it'll stop it and start it. So
that's inside you now?
It's in here, just in this muscle here, which is a wee machine, and it just monitors me the whole time and shocks me if it needs to. But having that implanted means I can't do one of the things I would like to do, and that's playing the game.
So you can no longer play in the bar at all?
I don't know. Any contact sport whatsoever, whether it be football, rugby, the bar, I suppose they look at it as a contact sport, so my days of that are over.
And you're still off work at the moment too, are you?
I'm off work now, yeah. I'm hoping to go back in January. I can't drive till January because of this thing that was implanted. You can't drive for 6 months. So come January, I'll hopefully get back to work, get driving again, and see how.
And you're hoping to get back here too at the fire service?
I'm back here training on a Tuesday night, just doing light duties, and I just I've done me stuff up at the hospital now, and phone the occupational health ones for the fire brigade and get a fitness testing set up with them, and then hopefully get back fighting fires again.
So you'll be back trying to save lives then?
By January, hopefully, yes.
Right, good for you, Mick. Right, thanks for that.
Thank you.
I'm just here with Mick outside this computer shop. Did you see that on the DVD, Mick, the bag on up on top of the roof?
I saw that, yeah. Quite spectacular, I thought, when I first seen it.
It was quite exciting at the time.
Yeah. Thought when I first seen it, I thought, hey, that looks quite good. Good for folk at home sitting seeing that, but then as a safety part of it, maybe not so good. You're not going to stop people getting up on roofs. People are going to go up there, whether it's spectators to get a better view, but I thought maybe too many bar players up there.
Yeah, there's too many up there because it's just a felt roof and it's a flat roof, and there's too many.
When you're putting bars up on roofs and things, it's to smuggle it.
Yeah.
And to smuggle it, you want to get it away quickly. No take the bar up onto the roof, but to throw it up there, have two boys up there even that's going to throw it somewhere else, maybe even back down the street, but not to fight up on the roof.
But fortunately nobody was hurt, so just learned a lesson.
That's the main thing. The bar is you can't stop the bar gun where it's going to go. People will pick the bar where a short moment like that in time that it could land anywhere, but to try and keep as little of people up there as possible would certainly benefit the game itself.
Yeah, too many on top of the roof. Right, thanks. I'm just doing with Mick here, doing at the Man's Lane. On Christmas 2004, the Doonies got a break at the last minute there on Main Street. You got the ball over Gerdine and came over here to this Gerdine, and Doonies had it, was it, Mick?
Aye, yeah. The bar broke loose on the Main Street at Stale, and everybody, well, not everybody, people scattered right, left and centre and running here, there and everywhere. I came up around in between the houses here to here, and there was 2 or 3 bar players here already, just obviously waiting to see if there was going to be a smuggler or whatever. And I came just to this side of the tree, and just at the gate there, the bar came through there. Dooney's in possession of it. At the time, I think it was Davy Miller that had it, that came through the garden with it. And then he was followed obviously by other Doonies, but uppies as well. Came in this garden here, and there was uppies on the wall here that jumped into the garden. The bar was loose in the garden just for a matter of seconds, but when I shouted down to them that fire over the wall, and it came over.
Right. It came over here, away.
Came over the wall here, landed just at not my feet, but just by here, and it was awful snowy. It was white as can be that day. So I picked the bar up for there, and I ran along here, thinking that's the best place to go with it. And around this corner here, and I could hardly get any grip on my feet.
There was a lot of snow that day.
It was awful snowy.
It was a good few inches deep in snow.
It was awful sliding. It had been packed tight too. You can the snow. And
You tried to go up there?
If I get up there and get into where Harry Kerr's field, there's a field next to Harry Kerr's shop. I thought, right, if I get in there, I can either hide or else get up to the top, and there's a lane at the top of the field that I could get out, and you're up the Dundas Crescent. You could go anywhere really. Up well, just before the junction there, and as I say, it was hard on the feet, but I could tell there was folk behind me, running after behind me, and next to Ken, somebody just take my feet from underneath me. But
you
I'm not sure exactly what was it.
You don't know who tackled you?
No, but the bar broke loose for me. Like when I hit the ground, the bar spilled, and it went into the kind of driveway where that Kerrs are there. And 2 or 3 other boys started gathering round then, and it obviously didn't take long for everybody to ken that the bar was here. Came back down this road, and by the time it got to about here, it was probably most of the players were back in the game again.
So then it get down that way, then, right down Man's Road. That's a different route it would normally take anyway.
Oh yeah.
In the Hooses and Gardens and that here.
Yeah, it just shows where it can go. You can if you get over a wall or whatever.
Oh yeah.
It's not just
well, that was unlucky, Mick. You nearly had a chance of getting away with it there.
Well, you have to try these things.
Right, thanks for that. I'm just speaking to Davy Sinclair. Davy's a boys bar winner and a men's bar winner. He won a boys bar on New Year's Day in 1961. Is that right, Davy?
Yes, that's correct.
And you got that one down in the water.
Yes.
Pushed down, was it?
Pushed from Broad Street. It lasted about thrown up at 10 o'clock and it finished at 1:45.
And was there a sort of fight for the bar? Were you quite unanimous or winner?
I was a unanimous winner for that one.
And well, there's the bar there. It was a bar that was donated by a Mrs. A. Rosie. It was an old bar that was played again. It's written on it there, presented by a Mrs. A. Rosie, St. Catherine's Place. So it was an old bar that was We played again. Then did she throw it up herself too? Did she throw it up with sort of family?
I can't remember it at the moment who threw this bar.
And
This one.
and this one here, is this the mains bar? No. The uppies were on their way up Victoria Street on that day, and the Doonies smuggled it away. And they got it away doing Fraser's Close, is that right, Debbie?
That's correct.
And you came about hands then?
I came about hands then. The written on Donaldson came out of Fraser's Close, chased by Duncan Curry, and threw the ball to me, and I disappeared. Then they're doing Great Western Road, and that was it.
So you made off with the bar in your head?
I made off with the bar, and there was a smuggle that day, and I kept the bar. That
Good.
was the end of the story.
Good for you. Right, well, thank you very much for that, David. Just had the two bars up there so we can just get a good picture of the David Sinclair with his boys bar and his mains bar. Thank you. Yeah, I'm just in Scott's shoe shop here in Victoria Street, and there's Sammy Tullock. Sammy won the boys bar on New Year's Day in 1971. And that was a bar that was thrown up by Josie Robinson. You mind that day, Josie?
Oh, fine that, yeah.
And how long did the bar take in them days?
Oh, maybe roughly around an hour, some of them.
Was it?
Yeah.
How long did that one take, Sam?
About 25 to 30 minutes at the most.
Was there a bit of running in it?
We were running, aye.
And what about at the end? Was there a bit of fight for the bar then? Or?
No, well, there wasn't that many takers in the days, but
So you're
there
quite
was a couple, but it
Yep.
didn't come to nothing.
you're quite unanimous.
Well, there was nobody else getting it.
All right. So you won it anyway. And
That's it.
and that bar, Josie, that was thrown up at 10:30. Was that right?
That's the first bar to be thrown up at 10:30. They changed it to 10 o'clock to 10:30.
You threw up the 1971 boys bar, and now you're throwing up the Christmas Day 2008 men's bar.
That's right.
And that's going to be in the record books as the first player that's not won a bar to throw up two bars. Is that right, Josie?
That's right indeed.
So you'll be looking forward to Christmas Day,
Oh, very much indeed.
and it's a good honour to get to throw up a bar.
It is indeed a very big honour, right enough.
So you'll be looking forward to it.
I certainly am.
Right, well, thanks very much for that. Then you just put the two bars in there together, we'll get you in. That's the boys bar and the men's bar.
Oh, aye, aye.
Right, thanks for that, boys.